So after the Battle of Britain comes the Blitz, which is the name given to the bombing of British cities by the Luftwaffe. Essentially what happens is that Germany start a campaign of bombing numerous British cities between a time period of September 1940 all the way up until May 1941. Why are they doing this? Well, first of all, to damage the morale of the British people. Primarily, indeed, to damage the morale of the British people. If you damage the morale of the British people, they're believing that that will reduce the British people's support for the war. It will therefore damage productivity, and thus it will force the British government to surrender. So what was it? Between September 1940 and May 1941, as I've said, Germany carried out a series of night raids. During these night raids, the Germans would send large numbers of bombers over to English cities, or British cities, should I say. And it's at this time that you have things like the blackout going on in these cities. There are air raid sirens going off, air raid shelters. In London, many civilians start to use the London Underground to get away from the damage being caused by these German pilots. The Blitz targets suburban, commercial and industrial centres, basically cities, so places like Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, Birmingham, Swansea, London, Coventry, Hull and Plymouth and so on, and many, many more. What are the effects of this? So 43,000 people die during the Blitz. Approximately 2 million British people are made homeless. Many buildings are destroyed. Transport and communication links are destroyed. Gas, water and electric supplies are disrupted, and loss of sleep impact on productivity a bit, but not much. One case study in particular, it wasn't just London which was bombed. I mean, although London did suffer the most severe consequences of the Blitz, but also Germany attacked a city called Coventry on a number of different occasions. The bombing raid lasted for 13 hours in total, and during that time 75% of all the buildings in Coventry were destroyed, 33% of all factories in Coventry were destroyed, 50% of all homes. There was no gas, electricity or water. 100,000 people flee out into the countryside. Mass Observation, which is a magazine or a research magazine, makes a negative report about the morale or the impact this has on morale, which forces the government to take steps to try and censor this research magazine. And new words in both German and English are created. Essentially, the word to concentrate starts to become used, which basically means to annihilate or to turn something to rubble. So what were the impacts of, the effect of the Blitz? Well, some morale was weakened. It did inspire the British to up their propaganda campaign to increase British morale, but ultimately the Blitz didn't achieve its objectives. Most British citizens still supported the war, and indeed some would argue that the Blitz galvanised the British people into being even more determined to beat the Germans.